So let's begin with some breathing, and then we're going to do alternate nostril breathing. I think this, well, we know this time of the year can cause some stress. So a nice thing to do is alternate nostril breathing. So we'll remind ourselves how to do that. And we'll start with just some easy breathing in and out through the nose. And I don't know about you, but I get really stuffy this time of year. I think it's the dryness more than anything from the heat and lack of humidity. One thing we do in Ayurveda is to put little drops of oil in our nose, which I know when I went to the ENT once, he said, oh, you could put some A&D ointment up there. So you could do something like that, but also in Ayurveda, they use drops. And you could use sesame oil or just some oil that you don't think will bother you. And I enjoy that. They do make some drops that have some herbs in it too, but you don't have to do that. Just telling you that because I tend to do that almost every evening and before bed, before going to sleep. And then often I do it after or when I wake up in the morning. I'm going to turn this because I just heard the phone go and we don't need that business. All right. So let's take our hands to our belly, Felix. Take your paws to your belly and let's breathe in and out a few times. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And perhaps breathe in the feeling of peace and serenity. You could choose your own word or joy. This time of year has so many blessings. Taking that all in. Maybe you're looking at the beautiful white snow this morning. It is pretty when we're looking at it from inside. And then we're going to go into alternate nostril breathing. So for alternate nostril breathing, you can use your thumb and your ring finger. Some people are like, I can't deal with that. So you could just do this. It's okay. It's not going to stop the benefit. So using the thumb, now you're not blocking your nostril like, no, it's more of a light touch with your fingers. So light touch with the thumb on the right nostril and the ring finger on the left nostril. These two fingers, the peace fingers, they can go into your palm like that, or you can touch your third eye. That's my favorite, but one's not necessarily better than the other. So take a breath in and a breath out. And then you're going to inhale in through the left nostril, block it, and exhale out through the right. And breathe in through the right. Block it gently with your thumb and exhale out through the left. Then you're going to inhale in through the left, gently block it with your ring finger or your other hand. And exhale out through the right nostril. Inhale in through the right nostril. Block it gently with your thumb. And exhale out through your left nostril. Breathing in through the left. Gently blocking it. And exhaling out through the right. So we're going like that, alternating. You're going to do it at your own pace. I probably was talking too fast for you. You can slow it down. You can also take a little space in between the inhale and exhale. And it's a nice way to just help your nervous system balance and even out. And I'm happy after class to go through it again if you have any questions. You're essentially breathing out one nostril, then breathing in and blocking it, and then going to the other nostril and breathing out through it and breathing in and alternating. So you can try that out. You can do like 20 to 30 repetitions of it. You could do it for a few minutes. there's not like a golden rule on that. Just experiment around with that breathing technique. And so, well, let's sit up nice and tall on our seat, feel our sitting bones. You know, I was in class the other day and people are like, sitting bones are. So you can kind of rock right and left and see if you feel them. Another way to see where they're at is to stick your hands under there. And then you'll get a sense for it. Some people go, ooh, they're pointy. And so that's also another way that you could figure out where your sitting bones are. Sometimes it helps to just have a hand down there and feel it, you know? So you're sitting on it. You wouldn't want to sit on your hand too long. We don't want you to cut off any circulation or anything. So rock right and left as you feel the weight get heavy on one side and the other. As you breathe in and you breathe out. And you might start to lift the opposite ankle as you tilt to one side and then the other. We don't want to tilt too far because we want to stay on our chair. Feel your nice tall spine as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Come back to center and inhale and lift both heels up. So pushing down through your 10 toes. Push them down. And then exhale and let that go. And let's inhale and lift the calves again. Don't worry, we're going to stretch them out. And exhale and let it go. Breathe in. And breathe out. And one more time. Inhale, lift it. And exhale and let it go. Let's walk our heels forward. Hold on to the sides of the chair. Ooh, that feels good to extend the heels. And now you might feel a stretch through the back of your calves. And then go ahead and point your toes away from you and pull them back towards you. Breathe in and breathe out. Moving the toes forward and then pulling them back. And forward and back and forward and back and circle your ankles around and about. So even though we're off for a bit, you can do all this kind of joint freeing stuff when you're just sitting around. I know it's a busy time, but loosen up the joints a little bit. It'll help you feel better when it gets this weather. It just causes, our bodies to tighten up a bit. And reverse your circles. And you can do anywhere from 5 to 10. No golden rule on that. Do what feels good for you. And then let's inhale and lift the right arm skyward. That's it. Relax the shoulder. Spread the fingers. And then take your thumb on the inside of the palm and wrap your fingers around the thumb. And then slowly, like a snowflake, lower the arm down and feel that circular motion, and then take it the other way. So reverse it as your arm starts to rise back up. Spread the fingers, and now exhale. Pretend you're pushing down a big pack of snow, like, tightly packed snow. Push your arm down, feel your shoulder blade on your back, and stop right in front of you. And then curl the fingers down, and then inhale and lift them up. So now it's very similar to what we were doing with the toes. Point the fingers down and curl them in like a claw, and then inhale and open them up. You can use your opposite hand to give it a little bit more movement. That is okay. That might feel really good. And then you can also use your hand to push into. So pushing the palm gives you a little stretch through the hand too. And then I like to pull on the fingers. Give them a hug with your hand and then gently pull them back. We were talking about this in our in-person yoga for Parkinson class on Wednesday, because a lot of people's hands were feeling tight, and that that would be very, very normal given this cold weather. So this is a nice thing to do to give attention to your hands and make sure you do both sides. So we can just do this other side and then we'll even it all up. We'll even it all up. And just notice my right side is tighter because I'm right-handed. I think that would be why. And release. Let's inhale and lift the left arm skyward. Relax the shoulder. Beautiful. Spread your fingers. And exhale, take your thumb on the inside, wrap the fingers around, and circle it. I just noticed I was lifting my toes while I'm doing all this. You can play with your toes, lifting and lowering while you do this. You know, the multitasking, good for the brain, right? And then circle it back up again. And let's spread our fingers and then gently press like you've got a pack of snow. You're going to push your palms into to really mush it down and pack it. There you go. And then curl the fingers under and up. And maybe use the other hand to pull the fingers back. There you go. This area right here, the underside of the forearm, it gets so tight. It gets so tight. Yes. And then shake it out. Let it go. Let it go. Let's take our arms wide and find a twist towards our right. Inhale. Imagine that spine getting tall, 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 long, 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 long. Because it is. And then inhale to center, open up the arms wide, feel your shoulder blades on your back, and find your twist. Now we've got right hand outside, left thigh. Oh, I got a good view of Felix and Oscar. We could get you other blankets, guys. You don't have to crunch like that. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breath is in. And breath is out. Open up the arms wide. I know those twists feel good. Make sure you're doing it in between Christmas cookies. Very important to do your twists. Yes, it is. Let's go for a twist once again. One more time towards the right. Breathe in. Breathe out through the nose. Feel your belly tone. It's good to tone your belly in these twists. It's protective. Inhale back to center. Open up the palms. And then exhale, tone the belly as you twist. Feel the base of your spine. And imagine it going click, 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 click as it gets taller, taller, taller up towards the snowflakes. And then let's come back to center. Hold on to the chair and let's take our legs out in a V. Hold on to the chair. Push your heels down. Of course, you know, if something doesn't feel right to you, like I don't want you falling off the chair. We don't need that business. And then drag the heels back towards you. We're in leaning goddess as we take our hands to our thighs, roll our shoulders up and back, and lean forward. This is such a good pose. I really added it into my repertoire. I think it's one of those necessities. Shoulders are on the back, belly's pulling in and up. Breathe in and breathe out. Breath is in and breath is out. We're going to push down through all 10 toes in our heel and open it up wide. Yes, you got it. Spread fingers. Feel your heart open. Maybe take your arm bones back a little bit as you lift your heart up. Snowflakes are falling on your heart. Very light touch. Come back upright. Bend your elbows. Lift fingertips upward. You may or may not straighten your arms all the way. It's okay. And then exhale and pull the elbows down. Feel the shoulder blades on the back. Inhale, lift up, gaze upwards, and exhale and pull the elbows down. I like to imagine I'm pulling one of those, you know, you've got that thing, you're holding the handles, you're pulling it down. And then let's inhale forward, push down on that pack of snow, and then pull your elbows back. Feel the shoulder blades come together. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, pull back. And one more time. This just feels so good. And then pull it back. Yes. Release the hands. Let's go back to our leaning goddess. Roll the shoulders up and back. Pull the ribs so they're over your hips. Now, if your legs are feeling like it's too much, you can bring them in a bit. They do not have to be. You're going for where you feel a little bit of a stretch, but it should be comfortable because we've been here for a little bit. And then let's move on forward, keeping our belly is in, lengthening through our spine. This is our leaning goddess. Now, perhaps you lift one arm out to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Place that arm back, the hand back down, and lift the other arm out to the side. We're gazing forward and down, keeping a nice long neck. Bring that arm back down. With our shoulder blades on our back, pushing down through our feet. Maybe, this is a maybe, you take both arms out to the side if it feels safe for you. So notice how the weight is coming in towards your legs and your feet. And you might feel it in your thighs. This is definitely work. You might feel like you're building some heat. Push down, rise up. Of course, if it's ever too much, you know what to do. Let's walk our feet back in and do a little bit of Charlie Chaplin just to kind of release anything that might have felt sticky or holding. You know, sometimes when we're holding, things get a little tense. And then let's inhale, bring the right knee in towards us. Give it a big hug as you lift tall. And then circle the half, well, it's a quarter circle, out to the side. And bring it back in. And open it up. And bring it back in. And maybe next time it goes out to the side and you take your opposite arm out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale, bring the knee back in. And let's do our number 4. So if your hip's feeling tight, you might place your foot on a block or two instead of bringing your ankle up over to the thigh. But if not, so either something like this, or you bring the ankle on up. And so we want to feel our sitting bones level, feel our ribs over our hip points, and then let's lean on forward. Sitting bones are back, spine is long. Ooh, nice hip opener. Where would you feel this? On the outside of the right hip, maybe the inside of the thigh. It can get super tight in there. Take a few breaths. Send love to your right hip. That's super important to send love to our body. Sometimes we don't talk nice to it. And you know what it does? It reacts to that. We have to talk nice to it. Not always easy. And then we're going to push down through the foot and rise on up. Good. Interlace your fingers and push your palms away. Wonderful. That should feel good. You might kind of circle one elbow, then the other, alternating. I love this. This is flossing for the shoulders. Super duper important. And then maybe the palms start to rise upwards. You might push them upwards if this feels okay for your shoulders, or you can push them out here, or you can push them out here. That's kind of cool. Let's do that. Start in front of you and then slowly move it up if that feels okay for your shoulders and arms. And maybe then rock it a little bit. Yes, we haven't done a ton of side bends yet. and come back to neutral. Open it up. Take one hand to your heel, one hand to your knee, and then make a little fist and give your right foot a little tapping action. Tap, 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 wake it up. You know, it's cold. My foot feels cold, so we want to say hi. I remember you, wake up. You're very important to me. And then maybe you stick some fingers in between some toes and make some space there. All this is so important for the health of our feet. We forget about it. It's so easy to forget about these seemingly mundane parts of our body, but they're so important. And then let's release the leg. And you can stretch the leg forward with heel down, or you can put it on a block, or maybe you have an ottoman in front of you, maybe you don't. And maybe you lift the leg and you have your hands underneath the thigh, give it a good stretch. You want to be forward on your sitting bones. You also could use the yoga strap. I don't think they're sitting on it. Oh, maybe ask her. Oh, there we go. Sorry to disturb you, boys. You could always put the strap around your foot like we do. And so you could relax the heel down or lift it. Shoulder blades are on the back. Shoulder blades are on the back. Please don't stress out your shoulders. You also could use your cane. You know, I love using the cane as well. So whatever helps you to stretch out, heels up or heels down. I love resting it on something that just helps the stretch. And then we might turn the toes out. Try to stay in these positions for about 30 seconds. You know, I always play around and put the timer on and see how long it is. And sometimes people think 30 seconds is a long time, and other times they can't believe how short it was and the time went by. Make sure that you're breathing as you stretch. Super important to send fresh oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, all in that optimal mixture through your body. And then let's release it and let it go and just see how it feels. And circle around on our hips a few times. And we will do the other side. So pulling now the left knee in towards us, and we grow tall. And you use this as leverage. Push your hands into your shin as you grow tall, and just notice how it feels to have this support in towards your belly. And then you might release the right hand and open up with the left. Do that a few times. Opening it out to the side and bringing it back in. And inhale and opening, and exhale and closing. And if you want to circle it around, feel free to do that as well. Always important to do what, if your body tells you, you know what, I could really use that circle, then you should go for it. So now we're going to either put our foot on the block for our hip opener. And you might say, well, I don't feel it here. But if you lift tall and then you lean forward, you might feel it. And then the other option, of course, is to bring the ankle over the thigh. And same thing. Use the time to really set it up, which means we want that nice long spine. Ribs are over hips, shoulders are over ribs. We lean forward and find that wonderful hip opening on the left side. I love you, left hip. Oh my God. Do you see Oscar's head on Felix's back? That's just too cute for words. Those two are always doing something to grab my attention. Breathe in and breathe out. Yep, good 30 seconds there. And you can use your hand and gently press down on the thigh a little bit. That can feel really nice. And you might tap, 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 or make a little fist and give a little tap, tap, tap to the left foot. Wake it up. Wake it up, and maybe fingers in between toes. So we've got a stretch going and waking up and yoga handshake all at once. Breathe. Enjoy this hip opening. You can always go a little further if it feels right to you, not necessarily to anybody else. And then come on up and let's stretch the leg long. Use the strap, use your hands behind your thigh, maybe use a block or table. I don't know, you don't want to, it's got to be a table that, I was just thinking of a glass table. You don't want a glass. I don't know why that came in my head. But anyway, your foot on something that it can rest on, or nothing. Just, it's different. I encourage you to experiment with, if the leg is resting down on something, how does this stretch feel? If the leg is up and you're holding the leg up, how does it feel? Shoulders are up and back. You can play with pointing and spreading your toes and flexing. You might turn the toes out so the kneecap and the toes go out. The heel is in. I always feel more that way for some reason. That's just, it's part of our, oh, that is a gorgeous down dog after. Oh, now he's got his gorgeous up dog. I'm telling you, thank you for being a model, Oscar. That's very kind of you. Breathe in and out. We will release it. Let it go. Maybe do the Charlie Chaplin a few times, and then we're going to move towards standing. So just kind of open and close. And when we go to standing, we might as well practice our chair pose. I'm going to move this chair over a little bit so I don't land on Oscar. It's okay, Oscar. You just do what you got to do. I'm moving over a little bit. All right. So we're going to rock forward and back to come on up into our chair pose. On our way to standing poses, you could have a chair in front of you or something to hold on to so that you feel safe with your balance. And we'll come on up. You might be holding on to the chair in front of you, the counter in front of you, or maybe you've got a stick. We've been using this a lot in class. I have students who say, I can't get up, I can't rise up. And then we use the stick and it really helps them. I'll show you what I mean. So slowly lower back down onto the seat. And a lot of times holding on to something like this, like my purple cane, helps us to get up. So you can try it and see how it is. You also could use a yoga strap and hold it taut. Yeah, that works too. I see Catherine with it. All right, so we come on up. How about we hold it for about 30 seconds? I don't have a timer, so we're going to have to guesstimate on this. You know, you can always, a good thing to do is to find out how many breaths you have in a minute. And that helps you track time and gives you an idea on the rate of your breath. So generally people have somewhere around 8 to 10, sometimes 12 breaths a minute. You can kind of play with that and see what it is for you. And then we'll stand on up or have a seat. What's good for you? And we will move towards some of our standing poses. Yes, Felix, we're going to do some standing poses. Let's start with a nice standing side bend. So, oh, it looks like I'm cut off. I can't tell if I am or not. Looks like I am. I don't know why. But all right, so we're going to do a side bend. You can either take your arms up overhead. We're going to go towards the right. So you could have your hands on the chair and just lean towards your right. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then push down through your feet. Rise up. And side bending now towards your left. Pushing down evenly through the feet, feeling strong leg bones, feeling your core engaged. And then rise back up. Now, I think my arms are cutting off today. I must have fussed around with the camera angle, but you can take your arms up overhead and side bend now towards your right. You might have one hand on the chair or both, and we know that's okay. We know that's okay. And then rise up. And let's do the other side. This is so helpful for our breathing to really lengthen through the sides of our bodies. Breathe in and breathe out. And then let's rise up and let's find our tree pose today for our balance. So let me show you different options for your tree pose. And there are many. I can't even possibly show them all, but you could have one foot down. So I'm going to have my left foot standing out, and then the right foot goes into the heel or the ankle. You could, and by the way, you can have the chair in front of you or to the side of you. You could take the foot up a little bit. And notice, I just noticed my hip was going to the right. So I want to lift up tall and try to keep the hips level. You also could place your foot on a block because that is a balance pose because it's uneven. It's uneven. Or you could even turn that block out to the side, something like that. And then hands can be at your heart or maybe out to the side. That can be very nice. You could have one on the chair, or you can have your arms up overhead. And I apologize. It just looks like I am cut off, boys. But so any version that works for you. And we wouldn't necessarily stay 30 seconds. We could try, but it's not really a goal. It's just kind of seeing where you're at. And then the more we practice, the more your body starts to learn where it is in space and how to keep upright in this balance pose. It's okay if you feel a little bit of wobbling. It's okay if you take your foot back down. And it's certainly okay to keep one or both hands on the chair. And then we'll come on down and do the other side. So you're going to pick the version that's right for you on the other side. All right, I don't want to get Felix's little pause here. I'm just moving over. So now we are going for the other side. And so practicing your alternate nasal breath, alternate nostril breathing, that could be interesting to do before you do your tree pose and see if it does anything for you. Now we're finding a spot to stare at that's not moving as we breathe. And notice your reaction to any wobbling, because that happens. Just kind of notice it. Breathe in. And breathe out. Hi, Felix. Are you trying to distract me in my tree pose? Might play with different arm positions. I tend to really like the one out to the side. It's nice. All right. Oh, Felix, you're just too cute. Now we're going to do a wall dog. So when you're done, and I don't want to rush you from your tree poses, when you're ready, you'll do a wall dog. So hands on seated chair or back of chair and walk it on back. That always feels so good. Bending the knees and angling the sitting bones back behind us. Just feels really yummy. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. Inhale. And exhale. And breathe in. And breathe on out. And then walk yourself back towards the chair. And now I'd love to do leaning goddess. So these two keep just getting in my way a little bit here. You know, I don't mean to like disturb you at all. So we're going to do leaning goddess. We're going to take our feet wide and our hands are going to come on the chair. Now you can turn your feet out and you can place your hands on the chair or your forearms on the chair. And you probably have more room than me, but I'm a little crunched by dogs at the moment. So you're going to come on down And don't think you have to keep your spine up because that's really hard. But you can lean the spine forward and your sitting bones back. And I didn't say it was easy, but your spine forwards, absolutely wonderful. Try to keep the spine long. This is leaning, goddess, standing, and then come on up. You don't need to go that deep down. You might be right here, and that's fine. This is absolutely wonderful to be right here. I'll show you what it looks like from the side view. And then come up and take a break, and you can go back in. We want to do this, like, I'm not making this up, at least 12 seconds or more to help strengthen our muscles and our bones. That's what the research says. So here we go again. I'm showing it sideways. Come on down. Spine is forward. You can keep your hands down or you can put your forearms down. Sitting bones are back and knees are wide. They're widening outwards. And then spine is long, gazing about forward and down. Find your breath. Feel your strength. Breathe in. Breathe out. And that's probably over 12 seconds, so we'll come on up. And rise on up. Let's do a little lunging action. What's up, Felix? What's up? We're going to do some lunges now, okay? All right, so we're facing our chair, and we're going to keep the right foot forward and take the left leg back. And you might take your knee just outside the chair. I'll show you what it looks like from the front. So the knee is outside the chair. That would be one way, or, you know, as long as your knee isn't pushing into your chair, that it's fine to keep it forward like that. Take a nice long stance and feel your lunge. So good for this hip. So good to stretch that back leg. So good to strengthen this front thigh. And yes, it's a balance pose. So many benefits to our lunges. Breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your belly in and up. Push down through the front foot. Pull it towards the back leg. Pull the back leg towards the front. And let's step the left foot or the back foot to meet the front. Come on up to standing for a moment. And we're going to go back down and do the other side. Hands on chair. Left leg back. So you choose. You could have knee go outside of the chair. That's a little bit more of external rotation. Or you can have the knee forward. Just trying to prevent you from having a, oh, Oscar, you are not making this angle easy. So knee is forward, I'm at a diag. That's probably not a bad view for you guys. So knee is at a, is forward towards the chair. Back leg is nice and long, though you could bend it and straighten it. That's a really nice thing to do sometimes with these lunges. Strong breath. Strong legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to step the back leg to meet the front. Come on up. Take a little break. You guys are absolutely awesome. We're going to do that again. This time, if you want to play with your balance a little bit, you can. I'm going to turn so the back of the chair is facing me because that way the hand can go on the back of the chair instead of down. But this is where you get to make the practice your own. What's best? What's best for you? All right, so now let's do the right knee forward, left leg back. You know, repetition is really good for the body because it knows where it's going. It feels a little bit more secure and safe. So knee is over ankle and heel. Stepping that back foot wider gives you a little bit more base for your balance. So both hands can be on the chair. We're feeling our strong legs. I'm really feeling that foot push down, the heel and the ball of the foot. And maybe we play with one arm lifting, or both, or one. Maybe we play with bending that back knee. Ooh, that'll get a little bit more stretch in through the front of the back thigh. And then we straighten it, and we bend it, and we straighten it, and we bend it. You could also try balance here with the bent knee. You could have arm forward, upward, or even out to the side. Finding a spot to stare at. Feel your strength. You feel any wobbling? Grab that chair, don't hesitate, and then step it on up. These are so good for weight bearing, for our strengthening, our bones, our muscles. Everyone thinks yoga is stretch, stretch, stretch. And it is. There's good stretching, but there's also good strengthening. Now we're going to step that back leg. Take it back. You know, like sometimes people are afraid of their balance and they're taking it maybe here. You're not going to get as much of a stretch there. And actually, you might not feel as balanced. So if you take it back, it might just feel a little bit better for you. And then you can play with bending it and straightening it. And bending and straightening. And then you might play with your balance. Finding that spot, horizon level to gaze at. Maybe one arm up, or maybe both. Breathe in and breathe out. Maybe bend and then play with the balance a little bit. You might even play with a moving arm. That's kind of fun. Don't feel like you have to have one particular way with your arms or your legs. All right, we're going to step it on up. Do a wall dog and then go down towards the earth. So you might want your blanket for your knees. Putting that chair against the wall, slowly lowering, using your hand on the chair, slowly lowering one knee and then the other. I'm going to move this out of the way. Felix and Oscar are taking up enough room. Boys. Yes, you. And then let's do some hands and knees poses. So you might have the blanket underneath your knees. Put that under here. And so palms are spreading, fingers are spreading, maybe swaying and doing some circles with your hips. And then reverse it. Yes, Oscar. Oh, that is quite a down dog. You are showing off, Oscar. You are showing off. Oh my goodness. You really are. All right, let's play with now doing a fire hydrant. So we're going to take our right knee out to the side and feel that. And then circle the knee around and about. I'm sorry, Oscar. You okay? Circle the knee around and about. And then we'll switch sides, okay? So now we're going to do the other side, Felix. Take your left knee out to the side for fire hydrant. And then circle it around and about. Well, you could follow along, Felix. We don't want you to get bored or anything. Just nice juicing up that joint. And then bring it down. And let's find our way to a child pose. So that doesn't mean you're going fully that way. I'm going to turn this way. You might see it better. So knees are going to be as wide as you're comfortable, toes coming together. If you know you're a cramper, because that, especially this time of year, that could happen. You can bring the blanket back and put your feet on it, and that might help. You can even roll the blanket a little bit underneath your ankles. And then walk your hips back and your arms forward. Walk your hips back and your arms forward. This is why we don't let you guys down too much, because you know, you're like obstructing view. Breathe in and breathe out. Yes, we're getting into our child pose. And from your child pose, you might walk your hands towards the right a little bit as you make a C curve. And that's a nice crescent C. Yes, I love your down dog, Felix. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yes, it is. Relax your head and your jaw. And then we'll go the other way. Walk your hands now towards the left. So you're making a C curve now towards the left with your body. Your elbows can be bent if your shoulders are sore or feeling tight, then bend your elbows by all means. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale back to center, and we will come down now onto our sitting bones. Let's do a seated butterfly. Now, in order to be comfortable seated, and if you're not, lay down and do the butterfly that way. I'm going to show it actually sitting on one blanket, but you might sit on a pillow or two, and then it's worth it to take the time to sit up on your blanket. I know it's more effort, but it actually is going to help your spine to be more upright. So 1 or 2 blankets or maybe a pillow, or you could sit on a yoga block. That would work too. And then we're bringing our feet towards each other and moving our sitting bones back. You can move the flesh away. That can be helpful to move the flesh away. And then hands on front of shins, or hands really on thighs, whatever is good for you. Now, a lot of people feel it's really nice if you put the blocks underneath your knees like this, because then they have something to rest on. And so try it. You can turn them on their sides. You could have pillows or blankets instead. Yes, that's true, you could. And then you might lean slightly forward, like we did with Leaning Goddess, to get a stretch that way. And so notice where you feel this. And make sure you stay about 30 seconds to get the benefit of the pose. And then we'll slowly work our way up. So walking your hands back towards you, we can do a nice, we're going to do a twist here. So taking your right hand towards your left ankle or thigh or shin, and your left hand behind you, roll the shoulder up and back to find your twist. Breathe in and breathe out. And then we'll do the other way. So now we've got left hand outside right for our twist. Can't do enough twists this time of year. Make sure that neck turns last. And then come back to center. How about we take the left leg long now? And so you can have your hands to your sides to help you. I love rocking forward and back a little bit. This leg, by the way, it might be here. It might be here and it might be here. So in other words, it doesn't have to go all the way out to the side. You might start with it more forward, and then you can always move it a little bit more outward as you feel the stretch and more comfortable. And then your hands can move forward. And yes, you're going to feel a stretch right about there. You might not have 2 dogs sitting on your lap as you do this. And then You might point and flex. It really changes how it feels. Drink in your breath as you feel the sensation of the stretch. Walking the hands back towards you, and let's do the other side. So now we've got the right leg long and the left knee's bent in. And again, adjust your legs so where it's comfortable for you. I'm a little blocked by dogs, but you could have this leg more like that or out here. Some of us are really stretchy and some of us are really tight. So lengthening the spine forward, the sitting bones are moving back, and then feel them kind of push down towards the earth as we breathe in and we breathe out. And then we're going to walk our hands back towards us when you're ready. And we'll go down onto our back. Let's do a bridge. We need that back bend. So bring your strap and your block coming on down. And you might want the blanket underneath your head. You might not. If your head tilts back like that, then you definitely want a blanket under your head. But if your head is flat, then that's perfect. So what we want is the chin and the forehead to be parallel with the earth, but we don't want that tilting back. That's really hard on the neck. So you can do some pelvic tilts forward and back. Really nice to loosen the lower back. And then find neutral. So somewhere between forward and back. Let's push down through our feet and lift up and do a bridge. Oh my goodness, Oscar, you are not making it easy to demo today. So hips are lifting, heels are pushing down, heart is lifting. You may feel some toning going on in your hips. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in. And breath is out. And then slowly lower the hips down. Take a little break and we'll do one more. So we push down through our feet and our toes, our heels. Lifting hips up, rolling shoulders underneath us. Pressing down through the arms, heart lifting. Breathe in. And breathe out. It's really a great opportunity to feel the opening in your body. I can't recommend enough doing these kind of poses because we're so used to hanging forward. So you could try it in bed. You don't have to go down to the mat. See how it is in bed. It could be a little hard if your mattress is really soft. It could be a little tough. And then release and come on down. And let's give our legs one more stretch. So we've done some good stretching. We'll do just a little bit more. Use your strap. You never do enough, right? And we've done some back of the legs. So let's do some front of the legs. So you can lie on your side or your belly. I'm going to show you on the side. And so knees are bent. And then we grab an ankle or a foot or a pant leg and then pull the leg back to get a stretch right here in the front of the thigh. So the heel is moving towards the buttocks. And I like to roll the shoulder back. It's just a really nice back bend. And we're getting a stretch through the front of the body. About 30 seconds. And then you can stretch it out and do the other side. You could just turn over. I'm going to go to this side. come on down. You can rest your head on your bent elbow. And this is another thing you could do in bed. We're going to take the knee in and then stretch the leg back. And get a good stretch going. Breathe in and breathe out. Send love to the front of your thigh. It's a good balance pose too, because you tendency to roll forward or back. And then come back onto your back. Bring your strap and we'll do one last leg stretch. Actually, let's first do a happy baby before we do that. So happy baby, knees in towards you, roll right and left. Those of you who have grandchildren or nieces and nephews hanging out with the younger people in your life, maybe on the holiday. And then we'll bring the feet down and take the strap to one of your feet. Give it a nice, you can't do this enough. You honestly can't, especially those of you who feel really stiff and tight in this area. I had to pick one for you guys to do over the holidays. It's the last two we just did, the front of the thigh stretch and this one. So important. I might stretch my leg out, but I don't want to kick Oscar. So you could have your knee bent or stretched out. When you would stretch your leg out, it's a little more intense. And then you might take the leg out to the side. This is very similar to what we were doing when we were seated and had a leg out to the side. And if that was really tough for you seated, then this is the way to go. And you might take it the other way. Woo. This really gets, this is a tough place here, but it's good. It's good. Let that hip get heavy in the socket. Leg up. Other side. Other side. That right side tends to get all the favoritism. But we have to make sure we give our left side due attention. Notice if your ribs are popping up and try to pull them down as you stretch. Notice if your knee locks, try to give it a little bit of softness behind there. You can stick your hand there and kind of touch and see what's going on. And then you might take the leg out to the side, keeping the hips level. At least 12 seconds, at least. But I highly recommend staying in these a few minutes. Is really nice. Really, really nice. And then leg comes up and take it over other direction. And you might notice this side isn't nearly as tight as my other side. So it's good to notice it. And you can let your hip come up and let the leg fall to the side. That's okay too. It's important to notice how this sensation changes over time. You might not feel the same stretch right away, and then the more you stay in it, you feel it. And then we'll let it go. And you're going to find your way to your final resting pose. Maybe you have feet up on a chair, which is absolutely lovely. Feet up the wall is really nice. Bolster under knees is super nice. You might be lying down butterfly. I would put pillows under your knees if you're going to do the lying down butterfly. And then whatever pose you stay in, you want to kind of come to neutral afterwards, just for a few breaths so the body gets back to neutral. So in other words, if I'm in this butterfly for a bit, and at some point I should go into neutral without kicking dogs, like into Shavasana like this, or maybe the bolsters underneath, but just letting the body come back to something neutral before getting up. So you pick which one feels good to you. I'm going to show you the one with the legs up on the chair just to remind you, because it's so nice. And you can put your legs up on the sofa too. Let's do this. Something like this. But this could be a sofa, it could be a chair, whatever you have. And we find our way. And it does take a while to get all situated, and you might put a beanbag or blanket on you. But this is just so nice. And if you're in bed, you just lift your legs up on a stack of pillows or bolsters. And this is such a busy time of year, so make sure that you give yourself permission to relax and soak in all the goodness and all the blessings, acknowledging what we're grateful for, relaxing tension in the body, wherever you may be holding it. And we don't always realize it. It could be in the face, fingers, the toes, the hips, the belly, the shoulders. It could be anywhere. So this is a time where you can do a body scan and just notice where tension is being held without judgment, just compassion. Stay as long as you want in your resting pose. I'm going to bring my knees into the chest and roll to the side to come on up, but I really encourage you guys to enjoy your resting poses. And we'll close our class together. Last class of 2024, but make sure to use the recordings while we're on break. We'll still be together. It'll be different airwaves. Wishing you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you may be celebrating. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Thank you.